Right. We're going to see how he feels. He's getting worked on right now. He works out way earlier in the day, so he got through that. Now he's getting worked on by the medical staff, which will give us a clearer idea of what we're doing here.
Coach, without getting too deep into expected adjustments, what's the thing that you think the Clippers will be focusing in on the most to try to disrupt some of the things you did in Game 4?
I have no idea. I would think that they have things they've gone to in the first 4 games that they didn't do as much because the zone tactic worked, so they didn't have to go back to some of the sending the third defender to the 2-man game, things like that. So I could see that if we're responsible and handle their zone correctly. And then they have to make a decision in the post with Nola. And I think Zubats has done a really good job down there on him. But obviously, Nola can get going. So you're preparing for things you don't even know if you're going to see. But you don't want to overdo it with your guys because you just want them in a good mental headspace, not thinking about a million things that could or couldn't happen. And, you just have to go hoop and play. So, we talked about adjustments we could go to, we may never get to. But you just want to make sure you have it in your back pocket. I'm sure they do too.
Coach, when you get to a Game 5 at home, do you preach urgency given that you don't want to face a must-win on the road? How does that, because it's not necessarily a must-win, but does it feel like that because of the circumstance of where you are and how close this series has been outside of one game?
Yeah, I'll be honest. You don't want to write the whole story before the story actually happens. So this is just what it is right now. It's Game 5. I made this point yesterday. We won this game last year. Everybody was so excited about the swing game, and then we got absolutely blown out in Game 6 and lost a really tough Game 7 to Minnesota. So if you start thinking ahead and, hey, this is how the story's going to end, or, you write a conclusion, I think you're in trouble. So I'm staying in the moment. We're staying in the moment. We're super excited to be home, and have our home fans here bringing a ton of energy. That obviously helps after what we dealt with in L.A. So it's cool to be home, sleep in your own bed, but Game 5, it is what it is. It's its own entity. It's its own thing.
Coach, how much time have you spent thinking about how to deploy your bench tonight?
A lot. And obviously, Russ's health matters, how we'll rotate. That adds another person to the fold. I also think you can't overreact if people had a tough night in Game 4. You need bodies out there. You need people to spell the first 5 guys. So we have a lot of trust in those guys. We have to put them back in the situation, give them the opportunity again. And hopefully, just like them, I thought in Game 3, hopefully being back home loosens people up a little bit, like you saw with their guys, the way they shot the ball in Game 3. So if we had that happen to us, that would be greatly appreciated.
Coach, you've obviously been through so much in the playoffs just as an assistant coach. You mentioned last year in Minnesota, but how much do you draw on from the previous experience? Who else are you calling for advice on how to steward the team through this stretch here?
Yeah, I think you draw on experience as far as preparation. And then in-game, I think the group can stay tighter together because they've been through so much. And sometimes those things went the other way, but there were a lot of times where they didn't. And we stayed together and won a lot of playoff games. So I think both things can help you. You can see things, trends or themes that feel a certain way in games that you've been in that have not gone your way. But the group the other night was very connected. And if they do that tonight with the home crowd behind them and we stay within us and really the noise and all that stuff, stay within what we're trying to do, good, bad, indifferent, I think we'll be okay.
Just as a quick follow-up, how much do you lean on Nola here? I mean, they show him during the timeouts. He's really engaged, in drawing up plays and all that. How much do you guys communicate?
Yeah, he's not drawing up plays, but he's definitely talking about post spacing. Different ways that we can attack. If I'm running a split game, he has opinions about who he wants in the split, which obviously makes sense. It's just like if a quarterback wants somebody split it out, different personnel, it matters depending on how their coverages go. So to be honest, having Aaron, Nola, Jamal, Michael, and now Christian, who's now gone through all this, won the championship with us, all their opinions matter. And Russ has been through a million things, and DJ. So you'd be stupid not to draw on experiences from other people that have also failed and succeeded in other places. So it is nice to have that, to be gone through the wars with them so you can have an open conversation of trust. And that goes a long way in these games with the intensity of, what we're about to go to.
Kind of a two-part question. A, as a first-time head coach going through this, what have you learned about you, yourself, the experience of coaching this through this process? And two, you mentioned before game one, you and the kids were watching XFiles, and you slept well. Are you still sleeping well, and is there a new TV series?
No, X-Files, there's a lot of seasons. You know what? I don't know what I found out about myself, to be honest. I think I'm just part of the group. Probably take a look back and be more, I don't know, judge yourself more when it's over, good and bad. Because right now I'm just going through it, with this responsibility. But I think it's important that me, the staff, everybody, that we're just in it together. And yes, my responsibilities have changed. It hasn't felt nerve-wracking. It's felt intense. There's anxiety. But yeah, I think when it's all over, I'll have a better feel for that. And no, we're definitely in the part of the X-Files where it's tough to tell what's about to happen with Mulder and and Dana Scully still doesn't believe. So it's an intense series. We're at the middle of season 2. Yeah, it's a lot of episodes. Yeah.
Hey, Dave, to your right. How do you feel like Jamal has progressed through this series, and what are your expectations or hope for him as he enters tonight and this week?
Well, I think he has not gotten the attention maybe that we all should be talking about. That when Nikola is not in the game, he's being doubled, tripled. He's being treated just like Harden, just like Kawhi. The adjustments are there for him as well. So I think he's been mentally tough, and it was such a Jamal game in Game 4. They're on this ridiculous run, and we're having a hard time scoring, and who makes back-to-back shots to keep us ahead? Jamal Murray. So it's like, you have to understand he is a guy that plays in the moment. He wants the biggest moment. He wants to be a part of it. And at the same time, I'm putting him in situations where I'm saying, hold water on your own while the big fella's out, or Aaron's taking a break, or Michael's got to take a break. It's always on Jamal's shoulders. It always has been. So I know his level will get better as the games get more important. But you have to remember what he's going through as well. Just like CB picking up Harden the whole game, that's hard, man. And what I see in Jamal is the same thing. They're putting their best defender on him. They're blitzing him. They're hitting him in different ways. Had Kawhi on him in the zone a little bit. So, Jamal's as mentally tough as it gets, and I would expect a really good performance tonight at home.
Just curious, kind of building on 2 questions ago, just what it's been like for you to manage a staff, different people with different ideas after each game in your first postseason as a head coach.
Yeah, all ideas are, you want them. You want to get people's, what they watch the film, what have they seen? And sometimes you take ideas in and maybe a part of it you like. Sometimes you don't even, you look at it and go, no, that doesn't feel right to me. And other times you're like, yeah, this makes sense depending on what I saw in film and what they saw in film. And it's always better when everybody takes a break from one another. And so you can individually decide what you think you saw. And you'd be stupid not to use these people that have worked in the NBA forever. These guys that are with me have been around and seen a lot. So, we're doing this thing collectively. Obviously, I have to make the final decisions and all those. But it's been nice to have that support, after each game, after each practice. Because you want creativity, because you need it. And as the series goes on, creativity with the players, sometimes it brings energy to them because they see that there's something else to go to. Optionality defensively, optionality offensively. And the more you have, the better off you are. Thank you, Coach. Yep. Thanks, guys.